Network. I'm Paul J. We're continuing our series on the book, 23 Things They Don't Tell You About Capitalism, and we're up to Thing 10. Thing 10 is, the U.S. does not have the highest living standard in the world. Well, most people think it does. So,
yes.
So what's the story here?
Well, this idea that the U.S. is
number one.
Yeah, number one, has persuaded a lot of people that, well, if we want to be like them, we need to adopt American-style free market capitalism. But actually, when you look at the numbers closely, the story is a lot more complicated. Now, just look at the published dollar income. Actually, the U.S. isn't the richest country anymore. Norway has far higher per capita income than the U.S. and 6 or 7 other European countries. But economists to reflect the local differences in labor cost and so on have introduced this idea of purchasing power parity, which basically tells you how much you can buy in different countries with the same dollar of your money. And when you use that the purchasing power parity income, it turns out that the United States, except for Luxembourg with, say, 400,000 people, the United States has the highest purchasing power parity income per capita. So a lot of people on that basis say, well, this is still the best country. But one thing that we all have to remember is that the Americans work much longer than people in other comparably rich countries. Depending on which country you compare it with, Americans work 10 to 30% longer than the people in France, Sweden, and so on.
Longer hours in a day, less vacation
Exactly,
time.
yeah. So the annual total working hours, say.
So if you take a more holistic view of standard of living, what do you get?
Yeah, if you use that measure, even in purchasing power parity terms, the United States is only about 7th or 8th richest country in the world. So per hour's work, actually countries like France and so on have a much higher income. They have more leisure time, which adds to their quality of living. So you may even argue that the difference is actually even bigger than what is indicated by simply comparing purchasing power parity income. And of course, let's not forget that the United States is far more unequal than other comparably rich countries.
If you're talking standard of living in the United States, is the world of people with health care, the world of people without health care.
Exactly, yeah. So the average number, of course, the average number nowhere gives you the whole picture, but the average number in the U.S. is even more distorted than average numbers in other countries.
Give us a couple of outstanding examples.
Yes, having unequal coverage of the Social Security, including health care. The Americans are spending actually far more money on health care, but they have apparently no better health indicators. America spends 13, 14% of GDP on health care. Countries like Sweden spend less than 10%. The Swedes have higher health standards, judged in terms of life expectancy and so on. The U.S. is a very unequal society. It has a much higher crime rate. On per capita basis, the United States have 12 times more people in prison than Japan, 8 times more people in the prison than European countries. So this is a consequence of unequal society.
Well, in that respect, the U.S. is number one.
Yes. Well, right. You have to be number one in something.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to move on.
Well, at least I did something today.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.